What is going on, everyone? Tim from Tirfon Orbital. So today I would like to talk about an install commission, a crystal focus install commission that I completed on a Proelium from KR Sabers. I don't know what's been going on lately. I have been getting a lot of these hilts in for install. I am not complaining. These are absolutely beautiful. They are a premium product, as I always expect from KR and Cal over there at KR Sabers. They always deliver a very premium product. This hilt is super classy. It is a great, unique hilt. We've got a lot of really cool stuff going on in this hilt, right? We've got the opportunity to light this vent. The switch control box is really, really unique because we've got a NeoPixel strip in here. So it's a great hilt, ripe for customizations, ripe for etching. So anyhow, I do want to come into Fusion and talk about the chassis. This is a CFX build or CFX install, and then we will come up top and do a quick demo, right? So with all of that out of the way, let's jump into Fusion. Okay, so here it is. This is the CFX version of the Crystal Reveal hybrid chassis that I designed for the KR Sabers Proelium, okay? I always want to say petroleum when I have to keep looking up the correct spelling when I do posts for this hilt. I don't know what a Proelium is, but it doesn't matter, right? Anyhow, 28 millimeter speaker down here, okay? First of all, let me just talk about how much room is in this hilt. There's just like so much room for activities in the grip of this hilt, which is why I was able to get a very, very hefty Crystal Reveal chassis for this, right? So 28 millimeter speaker down here, plenty of room for a 28 millimeter speaker. I've got two channels along the side of the speaker that will go up to where the board is, okay? Kill switch is down in here. Here is our battery cover. Battery cover is held in place with some large rectangular magnets. I'm not going to talk about magnets because I feel like I've beaten that horse to death. Here is the CFX chamber, right? So this is a CFX build. This chassis has been modified to fit a CFX. It is very, very tight. So one of the caveats with stacked board and battery designed chassis is that you have to 86 the USB port, right? So all the configuring will have to be done on the SD card. We do that to allow for room for the battery, obviously, okay? So CFX is there. Making our way up, here is the crystal chamber. This is a large, full brass crystal chamber, okay? There's a lot going on the inside of this crystal chamber. I was really, really happy with the design of this one, how it came out. I like these panels up here, okay? So a lot of stuff going on in this crystal chamber, right? So let's go ahead and try and isolate that if we can. I'll show where I've gone with my leads, right? So I've got two channels here that have my leads for all of my power and my switches. They come up the side, or the back rather, of the crystal chamber, okay? I had to kick that tube a little bit so it kind of does like a little 45 and then comes straight up into the upper section of the hilt, and that is where I make all of my connections to this upper PCB holder, right? So this channel here, apparently I can't navigate in Fusion still. So this channel is for 2020 NeoPixel strips. So that vent is in the upper emitter section. You can get some shine through there, and that was a request by one of the first customers that I did this design for, and I just kept it incorporated into all of the chassis, right? So 2020 NeoPixel strips are here. There are two of them, 1, 2. And then in front of that, I've got a strip of Mylar just for some diffusion, okay? Up top, lit PCB emitter. This is from KR Sabers. And then this window here is for pulling my switch leads for that PCB, right? And we'll talk about that PCB when we come up top. So let's do that now. All right, so here it is. This is the Proelium from KR Sabers, clean version. So this came to me exactly as is from KR Sabers, okay? Let's talk about this hilt. So this is a super classy looking hilt. I think in one of my previous videos, I was just talking about how I love the look of like aluminum or steel on brass. It just makes the hilt look super classy to me, right? So it's just a really, really great looking hilt. So let's talk about how to get at this chassis, right? Unthread your grip, nice clean buttery threads. Here is the chassis. Okay, so the customer for this install chose to keep the brass pieces of this chassis polished, which I think is a great decision because it just really goes in line with the aesthetic of the entire hilt, right? That brass on aluminum, it just, on black, this looks fantastic in my opinion, okay? So there's that CFX. Crystal chamber is up top. Battery cover is there. To use your hilt, this chassis is sized for an 18650 protected button top battery. So take your battery, the negative side of your battery goes down towards the speaker. Okay, so go ahead and put it in that tray.
Concentration here and now where it belongs.
So this was already on. If you don't hear anything, hit your kill switch. Okay, so there's that crystal. Let me just be completely transparent here. It took me about 3 hours to figure out how to get this crystal to pulse. This is one of the things that I like. I'm starting to like crystal focus and CFX installs, but man, let me just tell you about the manual for CFX. It's about 100 pages long. It's as long as, it's just long. The manual is very long. It's very robust. All I wanted to do was make this crystal pulse. And luckily, through my own due diligence, finally, I found, one of the, I think it's Christian, I think is his name, from crystalfocus.net, had a very, very, very informative walkthrough on how to get crystals to pulse. And it literally took me 10 minutes once I found that video. But before doing that, I was combing through the manual, just trying to figure it out. And I refused to ask for help because I'm stubborn. But yeah, so finally got the crystal to pulse. Okay. So this crystal has been wired up to LS2. Everything else, all of the other accents are wired in line with the blade. Okay. So once you get your battery in, you can slide your grip in place. That's power. There we go. So there's that control box. Really, really cool feature of this control box is that KR Sabers includes a PCB. So this is a switch PCB underneath here that has those NeoPixels soldered onto it, as well as KR includes these steel ball tactile switches. So that makes wiring everything up super, super easy. I think having the accent strip up there looks so unique, right? And then of course we've got those two 2020 NeoPixel strips behind that vent there, okay? All right. So that's it. Let's come down to the bottom. Okay, so there's that control box with the lit NeoPixels. Great sounding hilt, great feeling hilt. Okay, so let's put a blade in it. So one thing that I have neglected to mention is very important actually. So this thumb screw here, this one, that is holding the chassis in place. Okay, so you don't want to unthread this at all. I've really cranked this down. It helps to secure the chassis. If this gets loosened and the chassis yanks out, it's going to break the switches that are holding this or that are wired up to this PCB. So to you, the customer, don't unthread this one. This is your blade retention. Okay, so you want to loosen that. There is a blade plug that is included with the hilt. Okay, you want to take your blade plug out. This will take a 1-inch blade, right? So loosen that thumb screw, rest your blade on those PCB pins, and then just tighten down your thumb screw, and you are ready to go. Okay. See what else we got on here.
Sound bank selection. Exit menu. System SD audio player.
Lord Vader.
Okay. So there are those lit NeoPixels in that control box. Really cool feature. Let's see, one more.
Sound bank selection.
Lord General Sky Guy. This is where the fun begins.
So if you're looking at these switches, that bottom switch is your main, top is going to be your aux. Okay? Oops. Let's do one more.
Sound bank selection.
General mode data. General.
Seeing what a
Okay. So that's it. That is the Proelium from KR Sabers. Just a super classy looking hilt. So to the customer, thank you very much for your patience. To everyone else, if you have any questions about this particular install, please do not be a stranger. This chassis is available in the hybrid chassis section of my website for those of you who are interested in purchasing it. And with all of that out of the way, thank you everyone for watching. May the force be with you always. Have a good one, everybody.